foreign language. And essentially, with the exception of what I think you have as items 8 and 9, what I'm asking to do is to introduce foreign language at the honors level in French and Spanish, starting with level 2. In level 1, we don't believe we have, there's the students who would take French 1 or Spanish 1 coming into the 9th grade. It's a very, very small number. And the breakout, if you will, for the disparity in abilities really does not exist for the level 1 students. If the student comes out of the middle schooling from grade 8 to grade 9, does well in foreign language, they're going to go into Spanish 2. They're going to go into French 2. If the student that goes into Spanish 1, that's the right place for them and does not require the honors level, nor would the number justify it. So you won't see honors level at the Spanish 1 or French 1 level. Instead, what I'm proposing is to break out, because Spanish is our more popular language, into 2 years, which really is almost like taking Spanish 1 for identified students and running it over 2 years, an introduction to Spanish course and an intermediate Spanish course. Then we break out into students going at level 2, 3, 4, 5, or advanced placement. And all of the 2, 3, 4, 5 levels for both French and Spanish would have an honors component. Again, these are all subject to the availability of staff. That's true not only of the foreign language, it's true of all of these courses. But I do believe that there's at least good enough reason to think about doing this given the existing staff, because I do think that our courses are pretty split down the middle, where the abilities would be able to go, say, 50% to the honors level, 50% to the academic. Where we might now run 2 Spanish, 2 academic courses, I think we'll be in a position next year to look at, say, 1 section of academic and 1 section of honors. Still 2 sections total.
I think offering the honors in foreign language is really important, because those kids that, even though we only offer 2 languages, those kids that might want to study that in college, and if they're in the honors, that will give them an advantage.
Exactly
going on
right.
to college. And
Exactly
I think
right.
That's an excellent thing.
We're fine. Your point is exactly right, I think, and it's one of the reasons why we want to do this. The truth of the matter is, because there is no honors level, everybody is in one level.
Right.
It's difficult to cater to the needs of the students
Yes.
with a less of an ability, and it's kind of hard to go faster and go in more depth for the higher ability student, because everybody's in the same class together. So I think it serves a good purpose to do so. The next one, item 18, is a restructuring of the piano course. Currently, we run piano and advanced piano. What we're proposing to do here is to run 1 course in piano that would allow a student to take piano, much like a student can take chorus or be a part of the band, all 4 years. And the teacher, it's Mrs. Kane, she would work independently to develop the lessons for those students. They could take it for 4 years, much like chorus, much like band, much like stage band, and not be pigeonholed to just taking 2 years. So it would still only satisfy 1 credit's worth of the graduation requirement in art, fine arts. Item 19 is a little bit, I think this needs some explanation. Essentially, you might remember back, I think it was like 2004, 2005 was maybe my first or second year when I was the principal. We eliminated the course keyboarding.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, and we elevated that to Microsoft applications, and I think the reason we did that at the time was the level of skill that students were coming into the high school with, to be able to type, essentially, to use the keyboard on computers. Well, we're seeing that increase even more the last 3 or 4 or 5 years now. So working with the staff of the business ed department, what I'm proposing is to eliminate the Microsoft applications course as a full course, one of the 8 courses that a student would take in their schedule, and instead make it one of the 4 modules of the freshman seminar. So every freshman student, when they come to the high school as a freshman, will have 1/4 of their freshman seminar in Microsoft applications as a kind of a lead-in to other business courses. We're just finding that it's really not the best use of one of their 8 classes, essentially. We think that we can do better and we can offer more, and I think some of what I'm proposing to you tonight is kind of in tandem with that. The obvious question is, well, what's going to go out of the freshman seminar? And what I'm proposing, I have some ideas that I'm really not prepared to unleash tonight, but I can just tell you that the one module I'm looking to remove and replace the Microsoft application with is the writing skills module. But I do have plans for making a better use of Power Block time for writing skills development for students.
What are the 4 modules?
Currently,
Yeah.
Currently, they're math applications in science, writing skills development, study skills, and then the public speaking is the new one this year. This is the first year we had public speaking. So what I'm proposing is to remove the writing skills module, replace that with the Microsoft Applications module, and I have some ideas for writing center style proposal for Power Block time.
See, I'd like to see that, because this, of the entire proposal you made, this was the only area I had concern was replacing the writing
Is
skills.
because of eliminating that writing?
Yes.
The one that seems to be, the one that students and parents indicate they feel the best about is the study skills one.
Yeah.
Okay, the coming in, so that one was almost, we kind of put that aside. I think because of what we're doing in English classes and because what I think we can do in the Power Block and make use of that time with, I'm going to say, call it a writing center, something like that is what I'm going to be putting forward for next year. I think we can supplant the writing skills development that we're doing in the freshman seminar with Power Block next year.
And we will keep public speaking, right?
Public speaking will stay.
I think it's a very important module.
I agree.
Okay.
Actually, I take that, this is the second year we've had public speaking in there. So, but yes, those three will stay.
John, I have a question
Yes.
about piano. Is that an individual course, it's not a group?
No, it is,
study?
it's a class.
It's a class,
Yes.
okay, all right. Do you think there would be any disadvantage to a student who was particularly advanced and wanted on their transcript, for example, that they took advanced piano
I
as
don't.
opposed to basic?
I
I'm
don't.
just wondering. Okay.
You mean by title,
Yeah,
suggesting
no,
it's
I'm
at the
just-
higher level?
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, music is not like an honors academic
No.
distinction, but,
And I think a kid that's going on to major in music has the opportunity to get their reference letter from that
Oh,
music
right, yeah.
teacher
Right.
who
I
can
applied
go
to
on to
conservatories
explain.
and your repertoire mattered, but I just didn't know if that was a concern for people.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
One other thing is the last paragraph about the graduation requirements. Right now, as it exists, graduation requirements are that students need to take 2 credits in the fine arts and 1 credit in the business ed department. My proposal here is that the students will need to take a minimum of 3 credits among the 2 departments with at least 1 credit in each. So the student who may not necessarily be the art student but is more inclined to go the business route will have the option. And I think especially where we're expanding the course offerings in business that it makes sense, so. And we would start that for next year for all 4 grades, for even the seniors too. Because the worst is that a student would have 1 credit in at least one of them, so they just would fill in the other where they are more inclined to do so, whether it's business or music or art or something.
So John, the question is, we're not adding more staff that I know
Correct.
of.
Yeah.
So how did you accomplish this? I mean, because this is about
It's a good
17, 18, or 10 or so new courses, and then restructuring, adding honors, and are we cutting some courses, or how are we going to do this?
No, not necessarily. It's a very fair question. I tried to explain in the first paragraph on the first page, but I think it's important to talk about. The best word I can use is it's a redistribution of students. It's the student who's, might be saying now that they want to take, and again, well, let me make the point and then I'll go back. But the students, if there are students interested in taking philosophy, they're not going to be taking something else that we're currently offering. The hope is that it might be within the social studies department, though. The same thing with the biochemistry. It's a student that's not, if all of a sudden 14 students decide they're not going to take genetics or zoology and instead are going to take the higher level biochemistry, it might mean that we're running one less section of zoology or genetics.
So that teacher then slides
Correct.
over and teaches one section of...
Within that same department, right. Now, the truth is, but this happens regardless of whether or not we're offering new courses, it's still a numbers game.
It's always a juggling act, right?
There are courses I just have not been able to run because the numbers don't justify them. If only 7 students, say, sign up for Intro to Philosophy, well, the course won't run just by virtue of there not being enough, because that means not enough students came out of other
Another class to
courses
do the
that they've,
teaching.
right, exactly.
But I
But
think-
we go through that anyway.
Right, but giving these options, to me, is a much better way to go than having fewer courses for kids to pick from. And the hope is that, 25 kids, or 20 kids want to take honors biochemistry, or 20 kids want to take advanced high school psychology, you then can shift the staff number over. Because I think all of these new courses are excellent. Right? They're exactly the stuff that we should be offering to the high school kids.
Yeah, I think it takes us just a little bit beyond that small college prep high school that
Right.
we've been locked into.
Mhm.
And we've been talking for the last few years about expanding business ed offerings. And certainly, you've done so by restructuring and introducing new business classes and alleviating that fine arts requirement. I think you've really keyed into what the kids are looking for and what the colleges are looking for as well.
Especially what
That's
you've
great.
chosen in business, international business obviously is incredibly critical.
There's rigor in all of these.
Sports and entertainment marketing is such a big field
Yeah.
these days. There's a lot of colleges that have great sports and entertainment marketing programs. And then marketing and sales, obviously, is not only applicable to marketing and sales jobs, but it's applicable to anything you do in your life. And, you gotta sell a lot of stuff, not just product. You gotta sell yourself when you're going for a job interview and things like that. So I just think that, that I was really excited about all the courses are great, but the business courses I was really excited about.
Yeah, I'm very excited because this may be their only introduction to these
Right.
disciplines, because our kids go to liberal arts schools who don't have
Right.
these courses, and I certainly didn't have them in high school, so we're giving colleges a run for their money, really.
And the students know that this proposal was coming to you tonight, and the teachers, I shared it all with the staff when it was final last week, and got comments back, and so the word is out there. I meet with students in a little focus group periodically, and they were talking about them, and they reminded me about the philosophy course in the Hive session that I had last Thursday with my group that Marina spoke about. They heard about this, and I think that's good, because there's the teachers that are proposing these are hearing that students are interested in enrolling in them. So I do think the interest is high. And by the way, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge, especially this year where there has been a lack of curriculum leadership at all schools, but for the high school, teachers have really taken the initiative to work with me to develop course descriptions, to work with me on the prerequisites. They've done a nice job of collaborating and working with me to make this proposal, so I do want to acknowledge their efforts. Still, bucking up and working hard to make sure that we're offering the best program we can for our students, so they've done a nice job as well.
Yeah, you're right, the kids are totally in tune, because
Oh,
my
yeah?
son, who's graduating this year, said, oh, sure, now that I'm leaving, he's going
My
to
daughter
study
said the same
marketing.
thing.
And he would have taken PE, yeah.
Yeah.
The seniors are actually very excited about these courses. A lot of them are talking about how they wish they could have had these courses, so that says that we're going in the right direction.
Heck, I want to take them.
The one that they went to with a lot of students home on semester break now, and they're back at the high school, and they're coming to games, or they're
Yep.
coming to visit. The one course that, because I always ask them, do you feel you were prepared when you went off to college? And I don't know if they always tell me what I want to hear, or they're just polite, or a combination of things, but I generally get a very positive response. But when I talk to them about this biochemistry course, that was the one of all of them, because a lot of them are now going into organic chemistry, and they're finding out that that's something they would have liked to have had. They would have liked to have had the rigor of a science course that was not necessarily at the advanced placement level. It was kind of that in-between, so I think there's a purpose to be served here, so that's my presentation.
Wouldn't it be nice if every district in the Commonwealth went through this same discussion?
Yes, it would.
And had teachers that were willing
And
to,
had teachers willing to put in the time to,
That's right.
yeah, listen to the kids and implement some nice initiatives.
I think, Maureen, you need 2 votes.
Two?
You need 1 vote to accept proposed changes to the program of studies, and you need another vote to change the graduation requirements.
Oh,
All right.
good catch, thank you.
Right.
That's right.
Do you want to make those now?
I'll make a motion that we include the changes to the course of study for 2010, 2011, is that right? Yes, as recommended by Principal John Bernard.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
And then I'll also make a motion that we approve the graduation requirements, which changes from requiring 2 fine arts courses and 1 business course to 1 fine arts, 1 business, and then a course of the student's choice.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all
Awesome.
very much.
Awesome,
Thank
John.
you.
Good job.
Great
Thanks.
job.
Good night.
Yes,
Nice.
Carl.
Carl, how are you, Carl?
Hi.
Good to
Yes,
tonight.
budget talk.
Oh,
Excited.
I have no more left to me.
Not too much tonight. I just